If you want diversity, the WRC is the sport for you. So far this season, the action has passed from the icy tarmac roads of Monte Carlo to the deep snow and sub-zero temperatures of the Swedish forests. And now we've arrived in the Americas for the riot of speed and colour that is the Rally Guanajuato, Mexico. Mexico marks a return to gravel, and Sebastian Loeb has always been at home on these stages. The Frenchman is looking for his 6th successive victory here and will want to make up for a disappointing performance in Sweden.
I won a few times here, so it's a rally I always enjoyed, and so we'll try to do our best. First thing will be to try to do a good time in the qualifying stage, and for the rest we will see.
This is also the first competitive outing on gravel for new Citroën driver Mikko Hirvonen. The Finn has always been quick in the Mexican mountains. Can he take his debut win for the Citroën team here? But we're in Mexico, so it would be apt if the victory went to a Ford Fiesta. Jari-Matti Latvala, fresh from his victory in Sweden, is full of confidence.
Okay, now we're first time on the gravel. It is a very difficult rally coming up. There are a lot of new stages, and it's been a challenging recce.
Don't discount Petter Solberg, though. The Ford #2 driver will be looking to prove his pace this weekend and chase a victory in the Fiesta. And what a party that would be. And talking of the party atmosphere for which this event is famous, Mexico sees the return to the WRC to the hoonigan Ken Block. His Ford Fiesta shouts attitude.
I've had a bit of bad luck the last couple of years here, so I just want to have a good, clean run. Stoked to be here. I love these roads. The fans here are amazing, so I'm looking forward to a good weekend.
And for the first time, Ken's enlisted the help of a teammate, and that's a man with lots of WRC experience, Australia's Chris Atkinson.
Yeah, it's fantastic. It's been a few years, but it's great to be back. Yeah, we've had good results and good speed here before, but 3 years out of the main game hurts you a little bit. The stages are new as well, and it's going to be tricky, new car, but enough excuses, and I'll just try and get on with it and bed my way in, and hopefully by day 2 we're setting some good times.
And this is where it's all happening. Rally Mexico takes place in the Guanajuato province with its base in the city of León. From here, the cars will head out into the Sierra de Lobos mountains to tackle 24 stages that total over 400 kilometers. And this is how the WRC, powered by Nokia, stacks up going into round 3. Helped by his win in Monte Carlo, Loeb's on top on 39 points, followed by Hirvonen on 32, Petter Solberg on 29, and Rally Sweden winner Jari-Matti Latvala on 26 points. In the manufacturer's standings, Citroën topped the pile with a 10-point lead over Ford. The all-new qualifying procedure made its debut in Sweden and proved to be a great success. The drivers are timed through the shakedown stage, and the fastest through gets to choose where he starts on the road going into day 1. Ken Block was pushing hard and was lucky to get away with this one.
7.
The idea behind the new format means the championship frontrunners lose the disadvantage of starting first on the road and sweeping away the loose gravel. Here in Mexico, road position is key, and it was Norway's Petter Solberg who was the fastest through and was the first driver to choose his start position for day 1. Petter, unsurprisingly, selecting 14th on the road. Before they hit the dusty gravel roads on day 1, the drivers headed for the DC Shoes Guanajuato street stage, where the Mexican fans lined the streets for one of the biggest parties of the year and perhaps the most spectacular opening ceremony on the calendar. The fiesta in this incredible town really got going when American star Ken Block arrived at the start ramp. The Monster World Rally Team driver receiving a huge welcome. This time last year, he couldn't even make the start of stage 1 with an engine problem grounding him before he could get started. No such problems this year as the Fiesta blasted into the tunnels. There was an early scare for Block, though, with a heavy collision in the bowels of Guanajuato. His light pod flailing. There was serious damage to the front left corner of the car.
Didn't realize how slippery it was going to be once we got in the tunnel, and it just was a lot looser, just no grip, so hit with the front. Wasn't really that bad, but not the way I want to start today. It's been a rough day for me today.
Another frustrating start in Mexico for Block then, and Sweden winner Jari-Matti Latvala would soon take his turn into the floodlit tunnels. An incredible spectacle, unlike anything else in the championship.
20.
Jari-Matti had a big moment too, but unlike Block, that slide didn't result in an impact. The quickest man through the streets of this only staged run through a UNESCO World Heritage Site, though, was Petter Solberg. Following on from his success in the qualifying stage, it had been a terrific start to the event for the last man to beat Loeb here back in 2005. His power slide around the roundabout, reminding everyone why Petter's nickname is Hollywood. With the gravel stages due to start the following morning, the opening day is comprised of 4 mountain stages repeated once, including 2 brand new tests. 3 spectator-friendly stages finish off the day with a grueling 147 kilometres of competitive action in total. And this is how the start list looks for those stages. Arminder Araujo leads the pack away. He's the road sweeper this morning. Ken Block and Chris Atkinson go 4th and 5th. But the faster drivers through qualifying have chosen to start at the bottom of the running order. Jari-Matti Latvala goes 11th, followed by the Citroens of Loeb and Hirvonen, with Petter Solberg winning qualifying and opting to go last of the WRC runners in 14th. So to the rally proper in the barren hills around Leon, and with a new look to the opening day's route, El Cubilete returns, but is run in the opposite direction, so an interesting challenge ahead for the stars of the WRC. As we just heard, it's Arminder Araujo first to tackle the 22 kilometres of stage 2. The Mini John Cooper Works is away, and just listen to the distinctive roar of that twin exhaust machine. It's been a difficult start for the Team Portugal driver. Power steering issues yesterday, and now a turbo problem delaying him further. Back on the start line, Ken Block, and that collision in the Guanajuato tunnel has indeed caused further problems. The repairs needed saw him leave service 2 minutes late. That's another 20 seconds in penalties lost. An inauspicious start for the American then, but he does make it through El Cubilete.
A little bit of extra time getting the car ready this morning from hitting the curb last night, and on the way here, suddenly now I'm stuck in first, can't get into neutral. So yeah, it's been a rough morning already, but stage felt okay, so I'm ready to just move on.
You can get a real sense of the mountainous terrain here as we join Jari-Matti Latvala. This is one of the highest altitude stages in the World Championship, so Latvala will really feel the lack of power here. The car's running anything up to 20% down on their usual output. Next up, the first of the works, Citroens, the 7-time world champion and 5-time Mexico winner, Sebastian Loeb. It is a daunting record for his rivals to face, but for some reason, these dusty gravel roads of Mexico have always suited the Frenchman, and running 12th on the road. You can see the line of cleared gravel ahead. Incredible views from our eye in the sky here. Loeb's teammate Hirvonen is also on his way into this challenging stretch of road. Mikko flinging the DS3 from corner to corner. Their driving style all about carrying as much speed as possible through each bend and braking point to counter the lack of power. It's Latvala who's set the benchmark at the moment, but Loeb is fast approaching the flying finish. He's not going to get anywhere near Jari's time here. Oh, a strangely subdued start for the world champion in Mexico. So Loeb slightly off the pace early on. His teammate Hirvonen has got the hammer down back in the stage as he seeks to beat his compatriot Latvala's time. And this is looking much more promising for Mikko. Yep, he's quicker. It's by the smallest of margins, but that's enough to keep Jari behind. So to our rally leader then, Petter Solberg's always been strong in the mountains of the Sierra de Lobos. Can the Norwegian finally end that 6-year winless run? Oh, but the foreband was really wide there. And I hate to say it, look at the rear left there. His run up front could already be in jeopardy. He's picked up a puncture and a spin now too. Pushing too hard perhaps on that flat tyre, but rapidly hemorrhaging time. By the end of stage 2, he's lost almost a minute. The lead is long gone.
Okay, so we had a spin also with, I tried to push with the puncture, so I had a spin. But,
With Solberg dropping back, it's Mikko Hirvonen who's taken over the top spot as we move straight onto the brand new Las Minas test. It's been a really impressive start to the event for Thierry Neuville on his Mexico debut. Despite his supposed preference for tarmac events, the Belgian's strong pace continues. He's running in a terrific 4th place. Up at the sharp end, meanwhile, it's early days, but there is already an intriguing battle developing between Latvala and the 2 work Citroens. His teammate dropping back, Gary Matti is the leading Ford man. His ferocious pace has continued into Las Minas. Loeb may not have been beaten on these roads since 2005, but for some reason he's not quite been on the pace so far today. It is a tricky new route here in Las Minas. Sebastian having to work really hard over these bumps and crests, but again he can't quite match the time set by Latvala, despite running behind him on the road and having a supposedly clearer line. A huge power slide from Mikko Hirvonen to make it through that hairpin. He's never won in Mexico before, but he did finish 2nd here last year. The Finn knows he has it in him to end Loeb's 5-year unbeaten run, though, and as he bears down on the finish boards in stage 3, I think he could lose the lead. 2.2 seconds slower than Latvala, and we have a 3rd new leader in the space of 3 stages. Hirvonen slips down to 2nd. A competitive start in Mexico then, just 6.7 seconds separate the top 3, with Latvala leading by just 1.2. Neuville's terrific start sees him lie 4th ahead of Mads Osberg. The battle of former teammates Hirvonen and Latvala is raging again. Join us again in a few minutes, where temperatures are raised another notch in the scorching Mexican wilderness. Welcome back to the WRC powered by Nokia, where the Rally Guanajuato, Mexico is well underway under the sweltering sun in this vibrant North American country. Next up for the world's greatest rally drivers is another pair of stages that include the highest altitude test of the entire calendar in the incredible Ortega. Due to other commitments, Ken Block is only taking on a few WRC events in 2012, but he does have more experience in Mexico than any other World Championship rally. It's been a frustrating start so far for Ken. Oh, and really wide there, a heavy collision on the left side. And Alex clearly feeling the effects. They've also picked up a puncture after that impact. Former Subaru Works driver Chris Atkinson has joined Ken in the Monster World Rally team for the first time. It's the Australian's first WRC event for 3 years, so he's taking his time to get back up to speed. Well, there's Block's car at the side of the road. They've obviously elected to stop and change the wheel. Monaco 2 picking up a puncture in here, though. It's not been a good morning for the Monster boys. So that's 2 Fiestas in trouble, but Mads Osberg in the adapted team-entered Ford has been steadily building on his pace throughout the morning. On stage 5, the multiple Norwegian national champion manages to overhaul the flying Thierry Neuville. Back to that exciting fight at the front now, though, and we're with rally leader Jari-Matti Latvala here in stage 5, having already pulled further away from Mikko Hirvonen in the previous test. Oh, but there was contact with a big rock there. And I think something has given on his Fiesta. I suspect it's a puncture, maybe broken suspension. And with the Citroen Total drivers hot on his heels, this is incredibly frustrating. He's had to drive on the damaged suspension for around 5 Ks. A minute and a half have been lost, and he's plummeted down the leaderboard.
Yeah, you can see some damage on the front here. What exactly happened?
Really fast section to the downhill, and you came basically flat, and then you have a braking, and then you have like flat minus over the crest. I had marked like stone inside, but maybe from the wall had come a very big rock. There was a massive rock on the absolutely on the line, and I had so much speed that I couldn't avoid it. Otherwise I would have been going off the road. So unfortunately I hit it, and I got the puncture, and I damaged something on the front suspension.
So with both Works Fords in trouble this morning, it's left the Citroen boys out front on their own, and after a somewhat underwhelming start by his high standards, Sebastian Loeb has begun to build on his speed. Incredibly narrow here, but the world champion does claim his first stage win in the new Los Mexicanos stage and has again set a relentless pace in the spectacular high-altitude Ortega up to a peak of 2,700 metres above sea level. Citroën have spent years fine-tuning the DS3's engine to fight the effects of these oxygen-starved hills, and like Loeb, Hirvonen has looked in impressive form in here. With Latvala dropping back, Mikko is in line to take over the top spot, but only if he can keep his teammate behind. You can see Loeb's time at the bottom of the screen, and there's not going to be much in this. Well, Hirvonen is slower in the stage, but he stays ahead by just 0.6 of a second. Up ahead in the road section, though, Latvala and co-driver Mika Antila are hard at work making temporary repairs to that suspension. Teammate Petter Solberg stopping to check on their progress. And they managed to fix the track control arm by improvising with 2 ratchet extension bars from their toolkit to ensure they can get back to the service park safely. It's an impressive job from the Finns, and they're soon on their way to Leon. Latvala's delay has seen him fall all the way down to 8th, just ahead of his teammate Solberg, who's fought his way back up to 9th. Osberg is the leading forward in 3rd, and it's a Citroën 1-2 at the front, Hirvonen just having the edge on Loeb. So, blue skies above for the Citroën duo as they arrive back at the service park.
It's been a good morning, very difficult morning, especially the last stage. It was extremely difficult, very technical and very slippy as well. So it hasn't been easy morning, but a good start anyway.
Quite slow start. Don't have really the reason. It was really special. It was some concrete on the road, a bit different from the gravel stages, and maybe I didn't have the right rhythm in that.
All smiles at Citroën, but there's a busy service ahead for Ford in the Leon Poloforum, with both Latvala and Solberg's cars looking rather battle-scarred after this first morning.
Jari hit a big rock which broke the front suspension. He believes it wasn't there on the recce, so don't really know how it's happened. But yeah, we've come into here, I don't know, in 8th and 9th position. So hopefully they can pull back to, I think, they can quite easily get back to 3rd or 4th, but long way to go.
With the temperatures now nearing 30 degrees Celsius, the crews are soon leaving the sanctuary of service. Next up, the second pass through El Cubalete, and with the roads all swept clear of the top layer of loose gravel, there's an open playing field for all. And what a rally it's been so far for young Belgian Thierry Neuville, back up to 4th following Latvala's problems. It's been an astonishing drive. But unfortunately, stage 6 would be his last after ripping a wheel off. It's the end of his run on day 1. Neuville's demise is good news for Oyt Tanak in the M Sport World Rally Team Ford Fiesta. The Estonian has had a steady drive on his second visit to Rally Guanajuato, Mexico, and he replaces Neuville in 4th. It was a frustrating end to the morning loop for former leader Latvala with that broken suspension. The fight back for Jari begins from 8th, over a minute and a half off the lead. And just look at this. It is an incredibly aggressive start to his recovery in this second pass through El Cubalete. Latvala is absolutely flying. Despite Latvala's pace for the time being, second place Sebastian Loeb's main focus is on the split times of rally leader Mikko Hirvonen. Unbeaten on these stunning Mexican roads since 2005, Loeb will not want to see his record broken by his new teammate. The world champion is on the attack. Oh, and there is the stranded car of fellow Citroën driver Neuville at the side of the road. Loeb safely through, though, and Mikko Hirvonen is becoming embroiled in a real dogfight with his new stablemate. He's still learning the limits of this DS3, of course, and starting the stage just 0.6 of a second ahead. He may struggle to hold on to the lead here. Yeah, that's not enough. 2.8 seconds slower. Loeb has become our 4th different leader. It's that stunning time from Latvala that catches Mikko's eye, though.
That's a big fight between the pair. Loeb takes the lead.
Yeah, he takes the lead, but Jari-Matti makes incredible time.
But you always knew that with him.
Yeah, but he's fast and it's still a long way to go, so I need to speed it up a little bit, but no problems and anyway, so everything okay.
Mikko slips to 2nd then. His deficit to Loeb stands at 2.2 seconds after stage 6, while Mads Osberg is still the leading Ford, but he's a long way adrift in 3rd. Latvala has already made up 2 places to 6th. Once again, the Citroens are dominating in Mexico, but Latvala is charging. The Finn is not giving up. Join us after the break for all the action from the rest of the afternoon stages. Welcome back to stunning central Mexico, where Sebastian Loeb holds a narrow lead in round 3 of the WRC powered by Nokia. With stage 9 cancelled for security reasons, there are just 2 more gravel stages to run on this opening leg. Multiple Middle Eastern champion Nasser Al-Attiyah is finally making his WRC bow in 2012, and on his second outing in the DS3, the Qatari driver is already running in the points in 9th.
Right 240. Left 4 minus 8, big drop. 4 minus 8, big drop. 15.
After a 3-year absence, meanwhile, Chris Atkinson has begun to find his feet on his return. Coming from an era of world rally cars with fully active differentials and sophisticated electronics, the Australian has quickly discovered the latest brand of the WRC requires a much more aggressive driving style.
60, braking very late, the 3 right long.
Chris, quickest time so far. I know you're going to say the same as all the boys are coming behind, but you're getting more and more into this car now.
Yeah, I think we made a step on that stage. I've been too neat on the entry and then too wide on the exits, and I tried to throw a bit more. We're going to have to change the setup a bit, but not every second corner I got right then. So we're heading the right direction.
Evgeny Novikov was a revelation on his Mexican outing last year until engine failure cruelly ended his run, and again in 2012 the 21-year-old is displaying his newfound control and maturity. He's running in 5th coming into stage 7.
Open, left 1 hard. Left 1 hard.
The Russian has a couple of drivers behind though who are determined to move up. Former leader Petter Solberg has been fighting back from his early puncture all day, and despite another deflating tyre in stage 7, he makes it past Novikov on the leaderboard.
6 right tights, 4 plus tights.
The star of the afternoon, though, has undoubtedly been Solberg's Ford teammate Jari-Matti Latvala. On a recovery operation of his own after a broken suspension earlier in the day, he's been in irresistible form.
Cox, good. Vasen 2. 30 oikein 3, heti vasen 4, pikku soppu. 20 jarru, vasen 6.
Quickest again in stage 7, he moves up 2 places to 4th.
30 seconds now behind a podium. You wouldn't have thought that about 3 hours ago.
No, absolutely not. Of course, we have to try to attack. We want to climb back to podium after the disappointment with hitting the rock. So, but it's been going well now in the afternoon. A really good feeling.
Holding the final podium place at the moment, though, is Mads Osberg. It has been a strong day for the Norwegian, but with Latvala on this sort of form, he may find holding on to 3rd a tough proposition on day 2. Way out in front, though, are the 2 work Citroen drivers. Sebastian Loeb and Mikko Hirvonen have had plenty of battles over the years, but not as teammates. The world champion has the edge at the moment, but we have an intriguing 2 days ahead here in Mexico. With a year's less experience driving the DS3 than Loeb, Mikko is clearly at a disadvantage to his fellow Citroen driver. Despite that, there is still very little to choose between the 2 men. Hirvonen is slower in both the final mountain stages, but only drops a couple of seconds to his teammate. With the 2 passes through the evening's super special remaining, there are just 5.3 seconds between 1st and 2nd. Osberg ends his terrific day in 3rd, but the Works 4 drivers will be on a mission tomorrow. Latvala and Solberg are in 4th and 6th. It's the Citroen boys who are the men to catch, though, and they receive a warm welcome from the Mexican fans back at the Leon Service Park.
It has been a good day. We tried to push hard all the day, and at midday we were quite equal with Mikko. Now we have 5 seconds lead, but it's still very close. We had to push very hard, to take second by second, so but at the moment it's okay.
It feels really good. I'm really happy how things are going, and you know, first rally with Citroen now on gravel, so I'm very happy. It's only 5 seconds to Sebastian, so you know, he's just showing me how it's done with DS3, taking seconds, 1 second in each stage, so giving me a lesson a little bit, but I'm very happy how things are going.
Hirvonen and Loeb are locked in their first serious fight as teammates, and Latvala is building up an inspired fight back. Lots to keep us entertained on the second day of Rally Guanajuato, Mexico. Make sure you join us again tomorrow for the Day 2 highlights. For now, though, from Leon, it's goodbye.
On passe contre centimètres, ciel pour